Yes, madam, you can start with the class, madam.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you so much. Hello, students.
Hi, ma'am. Good
Yeah,
evening.
hi, Ma. Good evening, everyone. Today we'll be dealing with lower limb part 2. In part 1, we have discussed about the femoral triangle and all its contents. We have discussed about the extensor compartment of the thigh, and we have discussed about the venous drainage of the lower limb. In today's class, we'll be discussing about the lumbar plexus, the adductor compartment. Last class, we discussed about the extensor. Now we are discussing about the adductor compartment. Students, the nerve supply of extensor compartment was what, students? Extensor
Memorum.
compartment. Excellent, excellent. Yes. For adductor compartment, we'll be discussing the obturator nerve. We'll be discussing about the femoral canal and the femur. So we will start with today's class. Please let me know if I'm not audible. So
Okay,
first
ma'am.
we'll start with first we'll start with lumbar plexus. Now, what is this lumbar plexus? Lumbar plexus means it is a network of nerves. A network of nerves, they will branch and they will join with each other to form a plexus, and that is called as lumbar plexus. Mainly, it is a network of nerves. Which nerves? It is mainly the lumbar spinal nerve. So you know there are 31 pairs of spinal nerves, of which cervical 8 spinal nerve, well thoracic, then you have 5 lumbar, then you have sacral 5 and 1 coccygeal. Of these 31 pairs, it is this lumbar spinal nerve, that is L1, L2, L3 and L4, with the contribution of a small twig from 12th thoracic spinal nerve. All these nerves will form the plexus, which is called as the lumbar plexus. Okay. Now we have to know where these lumbar plexus are present. They are present within the posterior abdominal wall. There is a muscle in the posterior abdominal wall which is known as psoas major.
Class, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. So it is called as psoas major. So within the substance of this muscle is located the lumbar plexus. Okay. So where it is located, students? Lumbar plexus? Students?
So, posterior abdominal wall.
Excellent. Within which muscle, students?
Sauce major muscle.
Very good. Psoas major. Okay. So with if you dissect this muscle, no, you will see all the nerves of the lumbar plexus. So we discussed about the nerves involved and where it is present. Now we should know what it will supply. So, through the branches, the lumbar plexus will supply the lower limb, mainly the anterior aspect and the medial aspect of the lower limb. It will also supply the anterior abdominal wall, along with that skin of the gluteal region. Skin of the gluteal region. So, that is in brief about lumbar plexus. We will discuss it in detail. Okay. Now, see here, we will see what involves in the formation of the lumbar plexus. So you all know now that this is the gray matter of the spinal cord and this is the white matter of the spinal cord. Now, the fibers attached to the gray matter, they are the motor fibers, and these fibers are called as the ventral root, and the fibers attached to the dorsal horn. This is the dorsal horn and this is the ventral horn. The fibers attached to the dorsal horn, they carry sensory information, and that is called as the dorsal root. So these fibers, namely the dorsal root and the ventral root, they join to form the spinal nerve trunk. This trunk, it comes out of the intervertebral foramen. If you can see here, the spinal nerve coming out from the intervertebral foramen. After coming out from the intervertebral foramen, it divides into ventral ramus and the dorsal ramus. Do not get confused with the root and the ramus. Okay, root is before coming out, whereas ramus, the ventral ramus, is after coming out through the intervertebral foramen. So this is the ventral ramus and this is the dorsal ramus. The dorsal ramus will supply the posterior or the back of the thorax, whereas the ventral ramus will supply the front or the anterior aspect, lateral aspect of the thorax, as well as the extremities. So we have discussed about the ventral ramus and the dorsal ramus. Now, it is the ventral ramus which is involved in the formation of the plexus and not the dorsal ramus. Okay, students. So, which component of the spinal nerve is involved in formation of lumbar plexus, students?
Ventral vein.
Excellent, excellent. Okay. Now, you will tell me the nerve roots involved because we have already discussed. Which nerves are involved, students? Which nerves are involved to form the lumbar plexus? Tell me, students. L1, L2,
Number
L3, and L4. All these are the lumbar spinal nerve along with the contribution of T12. Okay. So these, which component? Ventral ramus. It is the ventral ramus of lumbar 1 spinal nerve, ventral ramus of lumbar 2 spinal nerve, ventral ramus of lumbar 3 and ventral ramus of lumbar 4. They are involved to form the lumbar plexus. Now we will go to the next slide. Now, this is to show you that there are 31 pairs of spinal nerves, out of which cervical are 8. Then you have 12 thoracic spinal nerves, 5 lumbar, 5 sacral, and 1 coccygeal. Now, we are talking about the lumbar plexus. Okay, we are talking about the lumbar plexus here. Can someone tell me any other plexus you all know, students? What are the other plexus you all know?
Brachial
Cervical
plexus,
plexus.
Excellent,
sacral plexus.
excellent. Very good. Very good. So you have the brachial plexus. Excellent. You have the sacral plexus. What else, students? You have cervical plexus. Very good. Very good. Okay. So cervical plexus will supply the head and neck and the shoulder, whereas brachial plexus will supply the upper extremity. Lumbar plexus we just now discussed. It supplies the lower extremity, anterior abdominal wall and skin of the gluteal region. Sacral plexus it supply again the lower limb and the pelvis. Now, can someone tell me, see all the nerves are involved in formation of plexus except the thoracic spinal nerve. Why don't they form plexus? Anyone, students? Please make guess. I'll correct you if you're wrong. Shall I tell? Yes. So what happens is the thoracic spinal nerve, they continue as the intercostal nerves in the intercostal space. They are not involved in the formation of plexus. Okay, so that is why these don't form the plexus. Now we will discuss about these nerves which form the lumbar plexus. Now, students, yes, this is for the lumbar plexus. Can you all see this bunch of nerves? These are the lumbar plexus. Okay. Now, students, can you all tell me the nerves involved in the formation of lumbar plexus? What were the nerves we just discussed?
T12, X1,
Very
ventral
good.
ramus.
Very good. Ventral ramus. Always say ventral ramus of L1, L2,
L2,
L3,
L3,
L4.
and part of
With
T12.
Yeah, very good. With a part of T12. Now, at this juncture, I will tell you one more point. See here, L5 is there. A part of ventral ramus of L4 is contributed along with the L5 to form something called as lumbosacral trunk. This is an MCQ question. It is called as lumbosacral trunk. Okay. So, what component forms the lumbosacral trunk, students? Tell me. L4 and L5. This lumbosacral trunk joins, it forms the helps in contribution of the sacral plexus. Clear? So, if a MCQ question comes that lumbosacral trunk is formed by L1, L2, L3, L4, what will be your question? It will be by L4 and L5.
L4,
L4 and L5.
L5.
Both will join to form the lumbosacral trunk. Okay, this is an MCQ question. Now, formation you have beautifully described. Location, please tell me where it is located, students. It is
Posterior
very
abdominal
good.
wall.
Very good. Yeah, don't get confused. It is not anterior abdominal wall. It is posterior abdominal wall. Can you name that muscle I said, students? It is present within the structure of the muscle. Very good. Psoas major. Can you see this beautiful muscle here? That is the psoas major muscle. Now, how to remember psoas is, psoas means loin in Latin. A muscle of this loin is called as psoas major muscle. Okay. So, if you dissect this muscle, if you remove their fibers, you will see this lumbar plexus. Okay. Now, we have discussed the formation, location, supply. Also, we know that it supplies the lower limb, mainly the anterior or the front, and the medial aspect of the lower limb, along with the anterior abdominal wall and skin of the gluteal region. So that was the supply. This was to show that ventral ramus of these nerves are forming the lumbar plexus. Having discussed so much, we will now look into the roots, the branches of the lumbar plexus. Yes. This MCQs have come in this section. Please pay attention, students. As you all said me, lumbar plexus is formed by the ventral ramus of L1, L2, L3 and L4. Now, with the contribution of T12, right? Now, what happens is the ventral ramus of L1, it divides into a large upper part and a small lower part. From the large upper part, two branches are obtained, namely iliohypogastric nerve and the ilioinguinal nerve. Okay, so you will tell me the root value of these two nerves, students. It is L1. Okay, so these are the branches of L1. It receives a small tick from T12 as well. Okay. Now what happens? The lower segment of the ventral ramus of L1 will join with the ventral ramus of L2 and it will form another nerve that is called as genitofemoral nerve. Okay. So what were the branches of L1, students?
Iliohypogastric.
Very good. And ilioinguinal nerve, right? Yes. What was genitofemoral is from L1 and L2. From L1, you have only iliohypogastric and ilioinguinal nerve. Then the ventral segment of L1 will join with the ventral segment of L2 to form genitofemoral nerve. Please tell me the root value of this genitofemoral nerve now.
L1 and L2.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, now what we will discuss is L2, L3 and L4. These ventral rami, what it will do is, it will divide into an anterior branch or the ventral branch, posterior branch or the dorsal branch. All the ventral rami of L2, L3, L4 will divide into an anterior branch, posterior branch, anterior branch and posterior branch. Any idea why they should divide like this, students? Any idea? I will tell you. They divide into anterior and posterior branches because they have to supply the lower limb, anterior aspect and posterior aspect. So the anterior branch will supply the anterior aspect of the lower limb and the posterior branch will supply the posterior aspect. Now anterior and ventral both are same, posterior and dorsal both are same. Okay. Now having discussed about this, we will see how L2, L3 and L4 are dividing into anterior and posterior branches. Now, what is in yellow is the posterior division. What is in green is the anterior division. What is the anterior division supply, students? Which component of the lower limb? Very good. What is the posterior division supply? Which component? Posterior compartment. Okay. Now, we will see that, see here students, L2's posterior division joins with L3's posterior division and form another beautiful nerve which is called as lateral femoral cutaneous nerve. Okay. So, this is an MCQ question. See here, lateral femoral cutaneous nerve's root value will be the posterior branch of the ventral rami of L2 and posterior branch of the ventral rami of L3. So it is L2 and L3's which division, students, anterior or posterior?
Posterior
Very good.
division.
Excellent. Now what happens is, again, the posterior division of L2 will join with the posterior division of L3 and posterior division of L4 to form a nerve which we saw in the last class, which was a nerve of the extensor compartment, the femoral nerve, right? So you will tell me the root value of femoral nerve, the posterior division of ventral rami of L2,
L2,
L3, and
L3 and L4.
excellent, excellent. But which division, anterior or posterior?
Posterior
Posterior.
division.
Very good. Excellent, excellent. Very good. Now, okay, at this juncture, we will just have a quick revision. L1 gave how many branches? Excuse me. L1 gave how many branches?
2 branches, ma'am.
Two branches. Very good. Two branches. That is iliohypogastric ilioinguinal nerve. Then L1 and L2. L1 plus L2 gave how many branch? One
Genitofemoral
branch.
nerve.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Now, lateral femoral cutaneous nerve was from which? You tell me the root value, students.
A posterior division of
L2
ventral
and
rami
L3.
of L2 and L3.
Very good. Very good. Tell me the femoral nerves branch.
L2, L3 and L4.
Yeah, which branches? Posterior branches. And if you see
Posterior.
here, femoral nerve is the largest nerve of this plexus. Okay. Now, having discussed about the posterior branches, we will discuss about the anterior branches. What you're seeing in green is the anterior branches. Now, the posterior branch of L2, L3 and L4 form the femoral nerve. Very simple. Anterior branch of L2, L3 and L4 will form a nerve which is called as obturator nerve. Right? So obturator nerve is formed by anterior division of L2, L3, L4. Femoral nerve is formed by posterior division of L2, L3, L4. Very simple, right? Lateral femoral cutaneous nerve is formed by posterior division of L2 and L3. Very simple. Now, very rarely there is one nerve present. It's usually absent. But if at all present, it is called as accessory obturator nerve. And this nerve arises from the anterior division of L3 and L4. Okay. So accessory obturator nerve, tell me the root value, students. Accessory obturator nerve's root value.
L3.
Anterior division
Anterior
of
divisions of L3 and
L3.
L4.
very good, very good. Okay, so that was about the lumbar plexus. If you're done with this, everything becomes like drinking water, students. It's very easy, right? Did you all understand this, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You all understand? Excellent, excellent. Now you tell me the branches of L1. What were the branches, students?
Iliohypogastric and ilioinguinal.
Very good. L1, L2.
Genitofemoral nerve.
Very good. Now, posterior branch of L1, L2. Posterior
Lateral
branch of
femoral cutaneous nerve.
lateral femoral cutaneous nerve. Then, posterior division of L2, L3, L4. Students, sorry.
Femoral nerve.
Femoral
Sorry.
nerve.
Yeah, this is L2 and
L2
lateral
and
femoral.
L3.
Excellent, excellent. Please correct me. So, lateral femoral cutaneous nerve is posterior division of L2 and L3. L2,
L2 and
L3,
L3.
L4 posterior division is femoral nerve, beautifully said. And
Femoral nerve.
then the obturator nerve's division.
Anterior division of
Anterior
L2.
divisions of L2, L3, L4.
Excellent, excellent. Femoral nerve was the nerve of which compartment of the thigh?
Anti.
Extensor or
Anterior
the anterior?
compartment.
Correct.
Anterior
Correct.
compartment.
Now, obturator nerve is a nerve of adductor compartment. We'll be discussing it today. Okay. Now, accessory obturator nerve is present. What is the root value of that?
Anterior
L3.
divisions of L3 and L4.
Very good. Very good. Can someone tell me lumbosacral trunk is formed by what?
L4 and L5.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Now, we will go to the next slide. See, we have already discussed all the nerves. Now, these nerves, lumbar plexus, once formed in the posterior abdominal wall, in order to come out, they have to pierce the anterior abdominal wall muscles. Okay. What are the muscles of the anterior abdominal wall? You have three muscles. Outermost is external oblique. How to remember that? These fibers are oblique and it is the external most placed muscle. That is why it is called external oblique. In the middle, you have the internal oblique. Again, the oblique fibers, and it is placed internal to the external oblique. That is why it is called internal oblique. Innermost is the transverse abdominis because the fibers are transverse. So these three muscles are the muscles of the anterior abdominal wall. These nerves should pierce these muscles and come out and supply the destined parts. Okay. Now we have discussed that this is the lumbar plexus. I will show you the branches. See here, that is the sorry, iliohypogastric nerve. Now, first we will discuss the what do these supply. Okay, see here, students, iliohypogastric nerve. The nerve root or value of this was what, student? Root value of iliohypogastric nerve L1. Okay,
L1.
now
L1.
very good. Now I will tell you what happens once it is formed. Once the iliohypogastric nerve is formed, it travels. Once it reaches the iliac crest, what happens? No, it divides into a lateral cutaneous branch which will supply the gluteal region skin. Which part of the skin? Posterolateral aspect of the skin of the gluteal region. The lateral cutaneous nerve will supply the posterolateral aspect of the skin of the gluteal region. Okay. Now, after the iliac, it will come from the anterocutaneous branch and it will supply the skin of the pubic region. In the next slide, I will show you. Okay. So that was about the iliohypogastric nerve. This iliohypogastric nerve, as it is coming out, it will supply the transversus abdominis and the internal oblique muscle. Okay. Now, that was about the iliohypogastric nerve. Now, before we move further, can you tell me the supply of the iliohypogastric nerve, students? What was the sensory supply? Via the lateral cutaneous nerve. What did it supply? It supplied the posterolateral aspect. See here, the gluteal region. This is anterior. So, this will be posterior, right? So, it supplies the posterolateral aspect of the skin of the gluteal region and it supplies the skin of the pubic region. I will show you in this diagram. Motor supply was to two muscles of the anterior abdominal wall, namely transversus abdominis and the internal oblique. Now, iliohypogastric nerve, see here, skin of the pubic region. This is supplied by the iliohypogastric nerve along with the gluteal region. Clear, students? Shall we move on to the next slide, students? Did you all understand this? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, pa. So, yes, we have discussed the iliohypogastric nerve. You all have said me it is nerve root is L1. Okay. Ilioinguinal nerve root, you tell me, students.
L1.
Very
L1,
good,
ma'am.
very good, very good. So iliohypogastric nerve we have already discussed. Can you see a beautiful nerve here going? That is the ilioinguinal nerve. We will see what this ilioinguinal nerve will supply. Okay. Now, ilioinguinal nerve, it will supply the skin of the root of the penis in males. It will supply the skin of the scrotum in males. It will also supply the upper medial aspect of the thigh. Okay. In females, it will supply the mons pubis skin and also the skin of the labia majora. So that is about the ilioinguinal nerve. If you see here, this is the supply of the ilioinguinal nerve. So what and all it supplies, students? It supplies the skin of the root of the penis. It supplies the skin of the scrotum. It supplies the upper medial aspect of the thigh. In females, it supplies mons pubis and labia majora. So that is about the ilioinguinal nerve. Now we will move on to the next nerve. This is an MCQ question, students. This is a MCQ question. Please pay attention. Next, we will be discussing about the lateral femoral cutaneous nerve. Please tell me the root value of this, students.
Anterior
Lateral
divisions of
Posterior
posterior divisions of L2 and L3.
L1 and L3.
Excellent, excellent. You know what, students? Don't get confused. It is the posterior division of L2 and L3 will form the lateral femoral cutaneous nerve. Okay. Now, this is a MCQ question. You know, in the in the lumbar plexus, from the ventral division, you only have obturator nerve and the accessory obturator nerve. Everything else is from the posterior division. Don't get confused with this. So, this is from the posterior or the dorsal division. Okay. Now, to trace this, can you see a nerve here? That is a lateral femoral cutaneous nerve. This is a MCQ question. Okay. So, how does it travel and reach the thigh? Now, the lateral femoral cutaneous nerve, it is beneath the fascia, and that fascia is called as fascia iliaca. Where did you hear this? Where did you hear this, students? Fascia iliaca. Any idea? Last class, did you hear this? Fascia iliaca. You are remembering? I will tell you if you have forgotten. We discussed that the femoral.
Femoral sheet.
Ah, excellent, excellent. The femoral sheath's posterior wall was by fascia iliaca and anterior sheath was by fascia transversalis, right? That is why the femoral nerve was not a component of femoral sheath because it passed behind the fascia iliaca. That is why it was not a component of the femoral sheath. Okay. Now, this lateral femoral cutaneous nerve, it is carpeted by the fascia iliaca. Okay. Now, it has to enter the thigh by passing behind the inguinal ligament. You can see how beautiful it is passing behind the inguinal ligament to reach the thigh. And what does it supply? It supplies the upper and lateral aspect of the thigh. Now, the MCQ question is, there is something called as myalgia paresthetica. You know what happens, students? I said you lateral femoral cutaneous nerve is carpeted by a fascia which is called as fascia iliaca. It usually, this nerve passes beneath the fascia iliaca, but unfortunately sometimes what happens is this nerve passes within the substance of fascia iliaca, not under. It is passing within the substance of fascia iliaca, and it is passing within the substance of inguinal ligament. Okay. So what happens? Because of this, any irritation to this nerve, because it is passing through the substance of the inguinal ligament and the fascia iliaca, any irritation to this nerve will bring about pain in the upper lateral aspect of the thigh, and that condition is known as myalgia paresthetica. Okay, it's called myalgia paresthetica. The nerve involved is lateral femoral cutaneous nerve. Why does it occur? It occurs when the lateral femoral cutaneous nerve passes within the substance of the fascia iliaca and the inguinal ligament. In such cases, any irritation to this lateral femoral cutaneous nerve will bring about pain in its area of supply, that is upper lateral aspect of the thigh. I will show you in the next diagram. See here, this is the MCQ question. Myalgia paresthetica is caused by which nerve? What will be your answer, students?
Lateral cutaneous. Femoral
Yeah,
cutaneous.
what was the root value of this?
L2 and L3.
L2
Posterior.
and yeah,
Posterior
very
L2
good,
and L3.
very good. Posterior division of L2 and L3. See here, any compression to this nerve brings about pain in the affected area, that is upper lateral aspect of the thigh. Okay, so that is myalgia paresthetica. Now we will discuss about the genitofemoral nerve. See here, this is genitofemoral nerve. Can you all tell me the root value of this, students? No problem if you make mistakes.
L1 and L2.
Excellent, excellent. Ventral ramus of L1 and L2 forms the genitofemoral nerve. This nerve, it aptly descends down. When it is just above the inguinal ligament, it divides into two components. This nerve, genitofemoral nerve, when it is above the inguinal ligament, it divides into two components, femoral component and genital component. The femoral branch of genitofemoral nerve, genital branch of the genitofemoral nerve. Now, I will ask you a question. Where did you study the femoral component of the genitofemoral nerve? Can you all remember, students? Femoral branch of genitofemoral nerve.
Femoral triangle.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so the femoral component, we saw it in the femoral triangle. right? You remember the femoral sheath was divided into three components: femoral canal with the lymph node of Cloquet, then you have the femoral vein, you had the femoral artery. Along with the femoral artery, what did you have here? The femoral component of the genitofemoral nerve, right? So that is about the femoral component. What does the genital branch of genitofemoral nerve do? It supplies a muscle called as cremaster. It supplies a muscle called as cremaster in males. Okay, and also the skin of scrotum. In females, it supplies mons pubis and labia majora skin. Okay, so we will discuss it again. See here, genitofemoral nerve divides into two components: the genital branch of genitofemoral nerve, femoral branch of the genitofemoral nerve. The femoral branch of genitofemoral nerve was in the lateral compartment of the femoral sheath. Okay. Now, what did the femoral branch supply? It supplied the upper and the front aspect of the femoral triangle, whereas the genital branch of genitofemoral nerve will supply a muscle called as cremaster in males, and also the skin of the scrotum in males. In females, it will supply skin of the mons pubis and labia majora. Okay, so that is about the genitofemoral nerve. Now, we come to the femoral nerve. You will tell me the branch, the root value of the femoral nerve. What is it?
Posterior.
Posterior branches of
Posterior
L2,
branch
L3.
of L2, L3, L4.
Excellent, excellent. Posterior division of ventral rami of L2, L3, L4. Okay. Can you recollect in the last class how did it reach the thigh, femoral triangle? It is the largest component of the lumbar plexus. It passed in between iliacus and psoas major beneath the fascia iliaca. That is why it is not a component of the femoral sheath. Okay. Then it passed behind the inguinal ligament and reached the femoral triangle as the lateral most component of the femoral triangle. Femoral vein was the medial most component, right? So that is the femoral nerve which supplied which compartment? Extensor compartment of the thigh. Okay. Now I have a question here, students, for you all. What did we say? We said L2, L3, and L4's ventral rami divided into anterior branch and posterior branch. Why did I say it happened like this? What did the anterior branch supply, students?
Anterior part.
Yeah, anterior aspect of the lower limb. Posterior supplied posterior aspect. But tell me the nerve root of femoral nerve. It is by the posterior branch of L2, L3, L4. But look what it is supplying. It is supplying the front of the thigh. Why, students? And one more question I'll ask you. In the upper limb in anatomical position, this is the flexor aspect, but the front is the extensor aspect. Why? Any idea? You'll make some guesses, students. Okay, I will tell you the
During
answer.
the
Yeah.
embryology,
Yes. What happens?
during the embryological development
Very,
rotation.
very good. What happens? Yeah, excellent students. See, during embryological development, what happens during 7th week? The limb buds are just like a lateral projection. Okay, they're just like lateral projection. At 7th week of intrauterine life, the upper limb bud rotates laterally, the lower limb bud rotates medially. That is why the femoral nerve, which is branched from the posterior division of L2, L3, L4, which was supposed to be supplied back, is supplying front. Okay, and obturator nerve, which is from the ventral division of L2, L3, L4, which was supposed to be supplying front, is supplying medially. Okay, so don't get confused. Why the posterior division of L2, L3, L4, that's the femoral nerve, is supplying front? That is because the lower limb bud rotated medially during development. Is it clear, students?
Yes, ma'am. Clear, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Now comes your MCQ questions. Okay. Now, meralgia paresthetica is due to involvement of lateral femoral
Lateral
cutaneous nerve,
cutaneous nerve.
Lateral cutaneous nerve of
ilioinguinal
thigh.
nerve, genitofemoral nerve, saphenous nerve. What's your answer?
Lateral
Lateral
cutaneous
cutaneous.
nerve.
Excellent. So that is correct. Okay. All are the branches of lumbar plexus except iliohypogastric, ilioinguinal, obturator, subcostal.
Subcostal.
Very
Subcostal.
good.
Subcostal nerve.
Subcostal nerve, it is from a branch of T12. Okay, it is not a lumbar plexus branches. That is why the answer is subcostal. Now, students, we study about the adductor compartment. Last class, we studied about extensor compartment. Can someone tell me the muscles of extensor compartment, students?
Quadriceps femoris.
Excellent, excellent. Quadriceps femoris. What are the components in
Sartorius.
quadriceps femoris? Very good.
Rectus
Sartorius. This
femoris.
beautiful muscle is sartorius. Yeah,
Rectus
rectus
femoris.
Rectus
femoris.
femoris.
What is this?
Vastus
What is
medialis.
Lateral.
Vastus lateralis.
yeah?
Vastus intermedialis.
Excellent. See here, this is medial. Vastus medialis, lateral, vastus lateralis. If I cut this rectus femoris, I will get vastus intermedius. This is sartorius. Okay. Iliacus and psoas major is here. Okay. So that was about the muscles of the extensor compartment. Now we will say the muscles of the adductor compartment. Extremely easy. Okay. Now, can you see this beautiful muscles here? This is the adductor compartment. This is the adductor compartment. I will tell you the muscles of the adductor compartment. Remember pectineus, students? Where did you hear this pectineus?
It forms the floor of femoral triangle.
Very good. It formed the floor of the femoral triangle. Pectineus is the adductor compartment. Any idea what muscle is this, students? If this is pectineus, what muscle should be this? Your last
Adduct,
class?
uh,
Adductor
adductor
longus.
longus.
Very good, very good. Adductor longus, right? You know two muscles. I will tell you the rest of the muscles now. Okay. So in the adductor compartment, what and all you have? You have the pectineus, you have the adductor brevis here. Okay. Then you have a vast muscle adductor magnus. You have a small muscle here which is called as quadratus. That is the obturator externus. So these are the muscles, and you also have another medial muscle which is called as gracilis. So these are the adductor compartment muscles. What are the muscles, students? What is this? Pectineus.
Pectineus.
Pectineus, adductor brevis. Then you have the adductor magnus. Then you have the what is this?
Obturator
Obturator
externus.
externus. Obturator externus, and one more muscle. What is this muscle? Gracilis. Okay,
Gracilis.
so these are the muscles. Now, if you see here, they are not in the same plane, students. I will explain that to you. In the superficial plane, you will have pectineus, you will have adductor longus, pectineus, and the gracilis. They are in the superficial plane. In the intermediate plane, you will have the adductor brevis and the obturator internus. Obturator externus and the adductor brevis are in the intermediate plane. In the deepmost plane, you have the adductor magnus. Now your MCQ question will come here, students. There's something called as hybrid muscle. Can anyone tell me what it could be? What is hybrid muscle?
Adductor magnus.
Fusion of two
Excellent.
muscles.
Excellent. Adductor magnus, and I will explain what is hybrid muscles. Yeah, see here. Students, any muscle which is supplied by two nerves is called as hybrid muscle. Okay. In this case, this is a MCQ question. Our pectineus is a hybrid muscle. Which compartment pectineus muscle belongs to, students? Adductor compartment.
Adductor compartment.
Nerve supply. What is the nerve supply of adductor compartment?
Obturator nerve.
Obturator nerve.
Very good. Obturator nerve. Did you study pectineus in femoral triangle as well? It formed the floor of the femoral triangle. Was it supplied by another nerve? You tell me which nerve?
Femoral nerve.
Femoral
Very
nerve.
good. Very good. You remember the trunk of the femoral nerve? Before giving anterior and posterior division, from the trunk it supplied the pectineus. So, pectineus muscle is supplied by two nerves, namely, what is this? Obturator nerve and the femoral nerve. That is why this nerve is called as hybrid muscle. Now, as you all said me, adductor magnus is also a hybrid muscle. Can you tell me which nerves are supplied, students? One nerve you already know by now. It is a muscle of which compartment? compartment?
Adductor compartment.
Adductor magnus.
Obturator nerve.
Very good. So, obturator nerve is applied. Then, adductor magnus is also a component of the hamstring muscles.
Yeah.
Hamstring muscle, as a rule, is supplied by the tibial nerve, right? So, tibial nerve. Adductor magnus is supplied by the tibial nerve and the obturator nerve. That is why it is again a hybrid muscle. See here, sciatic nerve divides into tibial nerve and the common peroneal nerve. Tibial nerve supplies the adductor magnus as well as the obturator nerve. That is why adductor magnus is also a hybrid muscle. I will tell you one more hybrid muscle later. Okay. Now the adductor muscle, this is the adductor muscle. It has two components. One is the adductor component and the other one is the ischial component. Now adductor component is supplied by which muscle, students? Obturator nerve. And ischial component, you tell me, is supplied by what? It is supplied by the tibial nerve. So that is why adductor magnus supplied by tibial nerve as well as obturator nerve. That is why it is a hybrid muscle. Students, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, pa. Very good. Now I will show you the two components of the adductor magnus. What were the two components, students? Tell me.
Hamstring and adductor component.
Very good. Hamstring component and the adductor component. Hamstring is also called as ischial component. Okay. Now, adductor component arises from ischiopubic rami, whereas the ischial component arises from the ischial tuberosity. Okay. So, the fibers coming from the ischial component is applied by the tibial nerve. The fibers coming from adductor component is applied by the obturator nerve. Okay. So, the vertical fibers, these are the fibers of the ischial component supplied by which nerve, you tell me?
Tibial nerve.
Tibial nerve.
Tibial nerve.
Adductor component is applied by obturator nerve. Okay. Now, students, in last class, we discussed that there was a muscle which had 5 osteoaponeurotic openings. Which muscle was that, students?
Adductor magnus.
Very good. What passed into the 5th osteoaponeurotic opening?
Femoral artery. A profunda femoris artery.
Yeah, femoral artery passed inside and continued as profunda femoris artery. Perforating artery branches of profunda femoris passed into the other 4. Okay. Now, there is one more hybrid muscle. By now, we discussed that pectineus is a hybrid muscle. We discussed that adductor magnus is a hybrid muscle. I will introduce one more muscle, that is the biceps femoris. Okay. So, biceps femoris is also a hybrid muscle because it has two head, long head and short head. Long head is a hamstring component and as a rule it will be supplied by tibial nerve. Short head will be supplied by a common peroneal nerve. That is why it is a hybrid muscle. Clear, students? So what are the 3 hybrid muscles you know by now?
Pectineus.
Adductor magnus, biceps.
Adductor magnus and biceps femoris.
Excellent. Now coming to the MCQ. Hybrid muscles are all except pectineus, adductor magnus, tensor fasciae lata, biceps femoris.
Tensor fasciae lata.
Tensor
Very
fasciae.
good. Name the 2 nerves supplying pectineus.
Femoral and obturator.
Tibial nerve and obturator and femoral nerve.
Very good.
Femoral and
Tell me the 2
obturator.
nerves supplying adductor magnus, tibial nerve and
Tibial and
obturator nerve.
Obturator nerve.
Biceps femoris.
Tibial nerve and common
common
peroneal nerve.
Excellent. Any idea tensor fasciae lata is supplied by superior gluteal nerve? I will be doing it in my next class. Don't worry about that. Hybrid muscles, your answer was correct. It is not the tensor fasciae lata. Now we discuss the obturator nerve, which is the nerve of which compartment, students? Adductor compartment. It's a very simple nerve. You will tell me the root value of this nerve. Obturator nerve, what is the root value?
Anterior division of L2,
L2,
L3, L4.
Excellent. Anterior division of L2, L3, L4 will join to form the obturator nerve. After formation, how does it enter the thigh? Now, what you're seeing here, any idea what it is, students? That is the
Obturator form. SWL.
very good. Acetabulum here, see here, acetabulum will be here. Okay. Now, this is obturator foramen. Obturator foramen is covered by obturator membrane, except for a small place on top that is called as obturator canal. Through that small space, obturator nerve and artery will enter the thigh. Okay. So how does obturator nerve enter the thigh, students?
Through
How does
obturator
obturator?
canal.
Very good. Through obturator canal, which is a small opening in the obturator foramen. Okay. Through that obturator nerve will enter the thigh. After entering, where and all it will go, what and all it will supply. We will see. Can you see how beautifully the obturator nerve is coming out of the obturator canal? Now we will see how it will supply. Now, once it comes out through the obturator canal, it divides into anterior and posterior division. Okay. It divides into anterior and posterior division. The nerve you're seeing here is anterior and the nerve you're seeing behind will be posterior division. MCQ questions are here, students, so please pay attention. Now the anterior division, it passes in front of a muscle. What is this muscle, students? We just discussed it later. What is this muscle? I mean, previously we discussed it. What?
15.
Yeah, what was there in the intermediate section of adductor canal? Obturator externus, right? So, very good, very good. Now, you know what happens? The anterior division of the obturator nerve comes in front of the obturator externus. It comes in front of the adductor brevis. Okay. And what and all it supplies? It supplies adductor brevis. It supplies adductor longus. It supplies the gracilis. Okay. Then it also supplies the pectineus muscle. That is why it is an hybrid muscle, right? So anterior division supplies all this, and immediately after coming out of the obturator canal, it will give a branch to the hip joint. Okay, so that is about the anterior division. Please tell me the course of the anterior division, students. I will repeat it if you have not understood. Once it
Passes
comes, yeah, tell me.
in front of
Passes down through the obturator foramen in front of the
Very good.
obturator externus and adductor
and supplies
brevis.
adapter
Yeah,
long.
what and all it supplies? It supplies
Pectineus,
pectineus,
Adductor
it supplies
brevis.
adductor brevis, it supplies
Long.
adductor longus, it
Adductor
supplies
longus.
gracilis, and it gives a branch to one joint. Which joint? It gives a branch to which joint?
Hip joint.
hip joint,
Very good. Yeah, this is a MCQ question, students. I will tell you. Now, that was about the anterior division. You have beautifully said that. Now, we will look into the posterior division. Can you see a small thing here? That is the posterior division. I will tell you how it enters. It passes piercing the substance of obturator externus. It passes behind the adductor brevis. What and all it supplies? It supplies obturator externus. It supplies the adductor brevis if it is not supplied by the anterior division of the obturator nerve. Then it supplies mainly the adductor magnus. That is why it is a hybrid muscle, right? After supplying the adductor magnus, it forms a genicular branch and passes through the fifth osteoaponeurotic opening of the adductor magnus, and it will supply the knee joint. Clear? Anterior division supplied which joint?
hip joint,
Hip joint.
Yeah. Posterior division supplied which joint?
Knee joint.
Knee.
Excellent, excellent. Now comes the clinical condition. Okay. Now what happens, unfortunately, in cases of the hip joint, there will be irritation to the therefore referred pain will get to the knee joint, and also I will show you the lower medial aspect of the thigh which the obturator nerve supplies. So what did I say? Any disease of the hip joint, the pain is referred to the lower medial aspect of the thigh as well as the knee. Okay. So this is a MCQ question. Clear? So that is about the obturator nerve. Now we will just, yeah, this was about the anterior division, which you have beautifully said me. And then you have the posterior division. Now, if there's any damage to the obturator nerve, which is supplying the adductor compartment, obviously, what is the function of adductor compartment? Adduction of the hip joint. So, adduction will be lost. Okay, adduction movement will be lost if there's any damage to the obturator nerve. How does it supply the lower medial aspect of the thigh? It forms something called as subsartorial plexus. I will explain to you in the later section. So, the anterior division of the obturator nerve forms the subsartorial plexus and supplies the lower medial aspect of the thigh. Okay. So, students, which joint it supplies? Obturator nerve.
Knee joint and hip joint.
Very,
Knee joint and hip joint.
very good. Okay. Now, MCQ, obturator nerve enters thigh at adductor canal, obturator canal, superficial inguinal ring, femoral canal.
Obturator canal.
Excellent, excellent. Okay,
Absolutely.
very good. Obturator nerve innervates all of the following muscles except adductor longus, pectineus, obturator internus, obturator externus.
Obturator
Internal.
internus.
Internal.
Excellent.
Internal.
Excellent. It is supplied by nerve to obturator internus. Okay. It is answer is correct. Okay. Now a patient presents with defective adduction of the hip joint and pain in the hip and the knee joint. Which nerve is involved? Obturator nerve, femoral nerve, saphenous nerve, sciatic nerve.
Femoral.
Obturator nerve.
Yeah. Obturator.
Yes.
Sorry.
Correct, correct. Obturator nerve. See here, students, I will clear your doubt. A patient presents with defective adduction. Obturator nerve supplies the adductor compartment whose function is adduction at the hip joint. So this patient is having defective adduction with pain in the hip joint and pain in the knee joint. Which nerve is involved? Obviously, the obturator nerve. Okay. Now, which muscle is supplied by the obturator nerve? Adductor muscles, extensor, and the flexor compartment.
Adductor
Adductor muscle.
muscles.
Excellent,
Adductor
excellent.
muscles.
Students, now we have come to almost at the last of the session. Please give me 1 minute, I'll have some water. Okay, students, thank you. See here, we will discuss about the femur. Again, several MCQ questions have been asked here. Now, femur is one of the largest bone of the body. It's one of the longest bone of the body, and it is the bone of the thigh. It has upper part, it has the middle part, and it has the lower part. Let us see what are the features in the upper part. In the upper part, you have the head, there is the neck, and there is something called as greater trochanter, something called as lesser trochanter. Then you have the shaft, then you have the lower end. In the lower end, there is medial condyle, lateral condyle, medial epicondyle, lateral epicondyle, and there is something called as adductor tubercle. I will explain that later. So this is about the upper end, shaft, and the lower end. Now, one thing I will like to tell you all, see here, the shaft continues as the neck, right? Making an angle. There is a neck shaft angle which is around 125 degree. This is an MCQ question. I will discuss about this in the next slide, but just know about it. Okay. Now, anteriorly, this is how the femur looks. It is very smooth. Posteriorly, it is rough, something like this. Okay. Now, you tell me what is this, students? What is this, students? Students, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what is this, students? That is the
Greater
trochanter.
Greater
This is the
trochanter.
lesser trochanter. Now, anteriorly connecting the greater trochanter and lesser trochanter, you have intertrochanteric line. What is that? Intertrochanteric line. Posteriorly connecting greater trochanter, lesser trochanter, there is intertrochanteric crest. Okay. You have an MCQ question now. I will say it what it is. See here. Now you have the intertrochanteric line. Posteriorly, it continues as spiral line. See here, it continues as the spiral line. Okay. Now I will stop at this and explain something which is called as linea aspera. Any idea what is linea aspera? I will tell you what it is. Now see here students, the femur, the medial border and the lateral border are not at all defined because the contour, they don't have a definite margin or the boundary, but the posterior border is very well defined in the posterior aspect of the femur in the middle third, that is called as linea aspera. Can someone tell me what should be the function of this linea aspera, students? What do you think is the function of linea aspera?
Muzzle insertion, please.
Excellent. Excellent. I will tell you the main function of this is, first of all, it gives attachment to various intermuscular septa and the muscles. The most important function of this linea aspera is it prevents the anterior bowing of the femur. Femur is a weight bearing. All our body weight is borne on this bone. That is why linea aspera acts as a buttress, and it prevents the bowing of the femur. Okay, so that is the importance of the linea aspera. What border that does it form, students? What border that it forms?
Posterior border.
Posterior.
Very
Posterior
good.
border.
Very good. Very good. This is an MCQ question I will tell you. Now see here, students. You have the linea aspera. We will trace it above and below. Now this linea aspera, it has something called as medial lip. It has the lateral lip. This is an MCQ question. And an intermediate area. You trace the medial lip above. It continues as the spiral line. You trace the lateral lip above. It stops at the gluteal tuberosity. Now you will tell me in last class, what were the muscles attached to iliotibial tract? Any idea?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, what was attached to the iliotibial tract? I will help you if you don't know. Yes, tensor fascial lata. You remember tensor fascial lata? And one more muscle. Can you tell me now? Gluteus maximus. Okay, to the iliotibial tract, two muscles were attached: tensor fascial lata and the gluteus maximus. 3/4 of the gluteus maximus was attached to the iliotibial tract. The remaining 1/4 will be attached to the gluteal tuberosity. Tell me what is attached to gluteal tuberosity, students? What is attached to which muscle is attached to gluteal tuberosity? Students, gluteus maximus muscle is attached. Gluteus maximus muscle is attached to the gluteal tuberosity. Now this is a MCQ question. See here, students, the linea aspera. The linea aspera as a medial lip and a lateral lip and intermediate area. The medial lip continues above as what, students?
Spiral line.
Spiral line.
Very good. Laterally it continues as gluteal
Greater trochanter.
tuberosity. Gluteal tuberosity. Okay. Laterally it continues as, students, this is an MCQ question. Laterally it continues as what, students? Gluteal. Very good. Gluteal tuberosity is an MCQ question. It will be coming later. Which muscle is inserted to gluteal tuberosity?
Gluteus
Gluteus
maximus.
maximus.
Yes,
Very
yes.
good. Very good. Now, we have traced the linea aspera above. We will trace it below. The medial lip continues as the medial supracondylar line up to the adductor tubercle. Up to the adductor tubercle. The lateral lip continues as a lateral supracondylar line. Okay. Now, I said you that the linea aspera, see here, linea aspera attached above to the spiral line, laterally to the gluteal tuberosity. This is called as posterior surface. What surface, students? What is this called as? This is a MCQ question. What surface is this, students?
Posterior.
Posterior.
Very good.
Posterior
This
surface.
is the popliteal surface. This is the popliteal surface. This is the posterior surface. Okay. Now, we will go to the next slide. Do you remember I said you the neck shaft angle is around 125 degree in adults. It is around 135 degree in children. This is an MCQ question, students. Very important. Now, in adults, it is 125 degree. There's a condition called as coxa valga. In coxa valga, unfortunately, this angle is more than 125. Okay, in Coxa Varga, the angle is more than how much, students? It's an MCQ question. It is more than how
More
much?
than one.
Greater than
Yeah,
125 degrees.
very good. In Coxa Vara, it is less than 120 degrees. Okay. Now, what is the importance? Why we should know this neck shaft angle? That is because, if this angle is maintained, it helps us have a normal gait. And another thing is, if you are doing any surgery and putting any prosthesis or something, this angle is very important. Okay, so that is about the neck shaft angle. In adults, what is the degree, students? What is the degree in adult?
125 degrees.
Excellent, excellent. Now comes so many other MCQ questions. Please pay attention. Femur has so many MCQ questions in that. You will tell me what is this here, students? I said you greater trochanter and lesser trochanter. Very good. Pay attention. You have some 3 to 4 MCQ questions here. The greater trochanter, when you see the bone anteriorly, this is the anterior surface of greater trochanter. To the anterior surface, there's a beautiful muscle called as gluteus minimus. What muscle, students? Gluteus minimus. Repeat it,
Reduce
students. Very good. Gluteus minimus is attached to which surface of the greater trochanter?
anterior surface.
Very good,
Anterior.
very good. Now we will see the lateral surface of the greater trochanter. This is the lateral surface of the greater trochanter. The lateral surface of greater trochanter is divided by an oblique line dividing the upper triangular and lower triangular space. To this oblique line, another beautiful muscle which is called as gluteus medius is attached. Which muscle, students? Which muscle?
Gluteus medius.
To the
Gluteus
anterior surface, which
minimus.
muscle was attached? Gluteus?
Gluteus minimus.
Very good,
Minimus.
very good. Lateral surface?
Medius.
Partum
Very
gluteus
good,
medius.
very good. Now to the medial surface, no, nothing. Do you remember last time we discussed about the trochanteric anastomosis? This is the medial surface, whether it's trochanteric fossa. There's no MCQ question on that, so nothing to worry. Now, students, gluteus maximus was attached to where, students?
Gluteal
Gluteus
tuberosity.
And to the gluteal
Tensor
tuberosity?
fasciolata.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. Now, one more MCQ question. See here, femur, we think it's a dry bone, it is not interesting, but so many MCQ questions are asked in this. There's something called as vastus intermedius muscle. Let us trace this muscle. You will tell me what is this line called as?
intertrochanteric.
Very
Intertrochanteric
good.
line.
Very good.
Anterior.
Very good. See here, this vastus, sorry, not vastus intermediate, students, vastus medialis. Vastus medialis, it arises from the lower aspect of the intertrochanteric line. I will trace, you tell me. It passes through the, what is this line? Spiral line. It passes through the spiral line. It passes through the medial lip of the linea aspera up to the upper two-thirds of the supracondylar line. Once again, we will trace, students. This is an MCQ question. It passes in the lower border of which line, students? Intertrochanteric line.
Intertrochanteric
Now
line. Linea
trace it. What
aspera.
is this? Spiral line, medial lip of the linea aspera up to the upper two-thirds of the supracondylar line. Only so much. Okay. Now we will trace the vastus lateralis. It is even more simple. See here, vastus lateralis arises from the upper aspect of the intertrochanteric line. It passes lateral to gluteal tuberosity. It passes on the lateral lip of the linea aspera and stops at the middle of the shaft. Okay, so that was about the medialis lateralis. To the upper two-thirds of the anterolateral surface, vastus intermedius is attached. We will discuss it once again, students. Okay, now this is about linea aspera. There are several questions asked on this. Please pay attention. See here, students, this aspect I'm going to. Students, are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I will enlarge the linea aspera here. What lip is this, students? Medial lip. What lip is this?
Lateral.
Lateral lip. Medial lip continues above as what? Spiral
Linear,
line.
spiral line.
Yeah, spiral line.
Spiral
Lateral
line.
lip continues as.
Gluteal
Gluteal
tuberous.
tuberous.
Gluteal
Excellent,
tuberous.
excellent. Now we have an intermediate area, right? I will tell you the attachment. This is very important MCQ question. Students, see here in the last class I said, if you take a cut section of your thigh, there are several intermuscular septa. What are they? Nothing but the deep fascia. Deep fascia is entering and attaching to the bone, dividing the thigh into several compartments. These intermuscular septa are also attached to the linea aspera. It's an MCQ question. Please pay attention. To the medial lip, obviously, medial intermuscular septa will be attached. To the entire medial lip, which septa is attached, students?
Intermuscular.
Medial
Which
Medial
intermuscular.
intermuscular?
intermuscular.
Medial intermuscular septa.
Medial
Very simple.
intermuscular.
Yeah. To the lateral lip, what is attached? Lateral intermuscular septa is attached. To the lateral lip, what is attached?
Lateral intermuscular septum.
Yeah. To the intermediate area, posterior intermuscular septa is attached. Extremely simple. Right? To the medial lip, what is attached, students? Be fast. What is attached to the medial
Posterior
lip?
intermuscular septum.
I will tell
Medial
you. To the
intermuscular septum.
medial lip, medial intermuscular septa is attached. To the lateral lip, what is attached, students?
Lateral
Lateral intermuscular
intermuscular
Lateral.
septa.
septum.
To the intermediate area, what is attached? Posterior
Posterior
intermuscular septa. Now comes your MCQ question. What is attached how? Now see here. You remember we studied about vastus medialis muscle just now, students? Vastus medialis is attached medial to the medial lip of the linea aspera. This is vastus medialis. Then you have the medial intermuscular septa. You tell me what intermuscular septa is attached here? What
Posterior
intermuscular septum?
intermuscular septum.
Very good. Very good. Now, in between the medial intermuscular septum and the posterior intermuscular septum, your adductor muscles are attached, namely adductor brevis, adductor longus, and adductor magnus. Okay. Now, between posterior intermuscular septa, what septa is this, students? What septa is this?
Lateral.
Lateral intermuscular septa. Between this, the short head of biceps is attached. Okay, short head of biceps femoris is attached. Can you remember which nerve supplied this short head of biceps femoris? We've already discussed.
Common
Biceps
peroneal nerve.
femoris. Yeah, excellent. Common peroneal nerve. Lateral to lateral intermuscular septa is the vastus lateralis. Very simple. We will discuss it once again during the MCQ. Okay. Now, this is the adductor tubercle. To the adductor tubercle, ischial component of the adductor magnus will be attached. Okay. One more MCQ question. Several important things are occurring at this adductor tubercle. One is at this line, lower epiphysis will pass. So any operation or any injury in growing period, this will shunt the growth of the femur. And other thing is, ischial component of adductor magnus is attached to the adductor tubercle. Other thing is, it serves as a surface landmark. Nothing is asked in this. Now, that was about the femur. Students, tell me about the neck shaft angle.
125
125 degrees. In
25.
children, 135
Excellent.
degrees.
Excellent.
130.
Yeah. Now comes a very important MCQ question. That is, I will tell you what it is. In embryonic period, what happens is, students, in the region of the thigh of an embryo, where the femur is supposed to be formed, a cartilaginous model will be placed. Okay. What happens around 7th week is, its bone formation begins, and that process is known as ossification. That process is known as ossification. What happens? The first osteoblast, when it appears, no, they say that ossification or the bone formation has set in. So this is called as primary center of ossification, which usually appears before birth. That forms the shaft of the femur. Which center, students?
Primary.
Which center? Yeah, primary
Center.
center. After birth, what happens? Secondary center will be formed after birth usually, but there's an exception, I will tell you. So what happens is, the head of the femur, the head of the femur is formed around 1 year, greater trochanter will be formed around 4 years, lesser trochanter will be formed around 14 years. Now comes your MCQ question. The lower end of the femur, the epiphysis is here. The lower end of the femur, secondary center appears at ninth month of intrauterine life. It appears before birth. What is the importance of this? Medico-legal importance. That is, if a newborn baby is born dead and you take an X-ray, and if at all this center is present in the X-ray, it means the baby was full term. So that is a medico-legal importance. Okay. So this is again an MCQ question. So when does the epiphysis secondary center for the lower end appear, students?
Ninth month during
What is the importance of that?
full term
Medical
baby.
Medical.
it represents full
Yeah,
term of the baby.
very good, very good. Okay. Now this is not asked, but I will tell you very easy. Head is 1, greater trochanter 4, lesser trochanter 14. 1, 4, 14. The fusion with the shaft occurs at 16, 17, 18. This end fuses with the shaft at 20 years. That is why after 20 years, absolutely no growth occurs. Okay. So now there's one more MCQ question, students. This one, students, where you're sitting, no, you can just extend your knee, students. When you extend your knee, what happens is usually patella will be pulled above and laterally. Okay, but what prevents its lateral displacement, I will tell you. There's a muscle here which is called as vastus medialis. Usually, in normal extension, what happens? The patella moves above and laterally. See, fibula is there, so it moves above and laterally. Its complete lateral displacement is prevented by a muscle. Which muscle, students?
Vastus medialis.
Why, I will tell you. This is an MCQ question. Usually what happens? This is the medial border of patella. This is the lateral border of patella. Okay. Now we will see to the upper 3/4 of the medial border of patella, vastus medialis is attached. To upper 1/4, vastus lateralis is attached. So naturally, because of its more degree of attachment to the patella, vastus medialis prevents the lateral dislocation of the patella. Clear, students? Yes. Now you will answer true about linea aspera. What is the answer, students? True about linea aspera. It forms the lateral border. It forms the medial border. Continues as
Presence and
medial.
On
posterior surface.
posterior surface of femur.
Option D.
Option
D.
I will tell you. I will tell you. It forms a lateral border. No, because medial and lateral border are not defined at all. Which border was defined? Posterior border was
Posterior.
defined. Where was the posterior border? It was in the linea aspera, right? So option A is wrong. Option B is wrong. Posterior surface. What is posterior surface? Linea aspera's medial lip will diverge. Lateral lip will diverge. This is the posterior surface. Lowerly it will diverge to form the popliteal surface, right? So you tell me medial lip continues as what, students?
Spiral line.
Spiral line above.
Yeah, lateral lip continues as what?
Gluteal
Gluteal
tuberosity.
tuberosity.
So now what do you want to change your answer?
Continuous as gluteal tuberosity.
Continues as gluteal tuberosity because it has nothing to do with the posterior surface, right? So the answer is
Yes,
continuous
ma'am.
as gluteal tuberosity. Understood,
tuberosity.
students? Yes.
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 Muscles attached to the medial lip of linea aspera. Muscles attached to the medial lip of linea aspera. Shorthead of biceps femoris.
Vastus medialis.
Medialis.
Excellent. Excellent. Vastus medialis is here. Vastus lateralis is here. Shorthead of biceps is here. Vastus intermedius is not at all there in the posterior aspect. It is there in the anterior aspect. So what is your answer? Excellent. Okay. Muscles attached to the lateral surface of greater trochanter. You will answer this.
Gluteus maximus. No. Nothing. Lateral trochanter.
Gluteus.
Medius.
Excellent. Excellent. It is a gluteus medius.
Gluteus.
Where was minimus attached?
Anterior surface
Anterior
of
surface of
Very
greater
good.
greater
trochanter.
Very
trochanter.
good. If this question is asked for MCQ, if lateral surface is asked, no, you just remember this diagram. Okay. To the oblique
Okay.
line, medius is attached. Okay. So, correct. The answer is correct. The lower end of femur is ossified from how many ossification center? For example,
Second
Two
one.
ossification.
how many ossification center, students?
Two ossification centers.
I will explain. I will explain. Primary center. Primary center appeared in the 7th week and it formed the shaft. Secondary center for the upper end were three. One for the head, one for the greater trochanter, one for the lesser trochanter. The secondary ossification center for the lower end was one. When did this appear, students? When did it appear?
9.
You remember? Yeah, excellent. Ninth one.
9.
What was the importance of that? What is the importance?
Indicates the philtrum of
Because
baby.
Yeah, very good. Very good. So now you tell me the answer.
1.
Very good. It is 1. For the upper end, what is the answer?
3.
Very good. Upper end, it is 3. Okay. So for lower end, it is 1. Very good. Now we come to the last component, which will take another 2 minutes. Can I continue, students?
Okay, ma'am. Continue.
Okay,
ma'am.
done. Come on, come on. Yeah, just 2 minutes. I'll finish it very fast. Okay. Now, adductor canal. Students, you remember the femoral triangle? Yeah, what was the boundary? Sartorius and the adductor longus.
Longest.
At the apex last class we saw, there was something called as adductor canal, which is also called as Hunter's canal. Right? Now, what was the extent of this canal? It started from the apex of which triangle? Femoral triangle. It ended at the fifth osteoaponeurotic opening of the adductor magnus muscle.
Magnus.
So that is, yeah, very good. That is the extent of this Hunter's canal. Can you tell me one content which passes into this?
Femoral artery.
Very good. Femoral artery. What is one other content?
Femoral vein also, ma'am.
Very good. The others I will explain now. See here. So at the apex of femoral triangle started this adductor canal. Where did it end? At the fifth osteoaponeurotic opening. Okay. Near the apex of this adductor canal, there is medial lip of linea aspera. Medial lip of linea aspera, which we studied just now. So what the surgeon John Hunter did was, he utilized the space. That is why it is named after him. In any surgery of the knee joint or the popliteal artery or below knee amputation, what this great surgeon John Hunter did was, he compressed the femoral artery at the linea aspera's medial lip to prevent hemorrhage. That is why it is also called as Hunter's canal. Okay. Now we will see the boundaries of this canal. So what is the extent of this canal, students?
From the apex of the femoral triangle to the fifth five
Yeah, osteoaponeurotic opening. It is
osteoaponeurotic
a
opening.
musculoaponeurotic opening. Now I will tell you the roof and boundaries. See, what is this muscle, students? Sartorius, right? If I cut the sartorius, that is the roof of the adductor canal, sartorius. If I cut and remove the sartorius, I will see a fibrous band. I will see the fibrous band. Now, vastus medialis, this forms the anterolateral wall. Anterolateral wall is formed by vastus medialis. The floor is formed by adductor longus and adductor magnus. Floor is formed by adductor longus and adductor magnus. So tell me the boundary, students. What is the roof forming? The roof is formed by which muscle?
Sartorius.
Very good. Anterolaterally, it is formed by?
Vastus medialis.
The floor is formed by?
Adductor longus and adductor.
Very good. You have already said me two contents. What are the two contents? Femoral artery and femoral vein.
Femoral vein.
Right. The other contents I will tell you now. See here, students. You remember the saphenous nerve? It was from branch of which nerve, students? The femoral nerve. See here, femoral nerve divided into anterior and posterior branch. From the posterior branch was the saphenous nerve. Saphenous nerve entered through the adductor canal. Saphenous nerve is also a content, and also nerve to vastus medialis is also a content. So, what are the contents? Femoral artery and vein. Then you have the saphenous nerve, and then you have the nerve to vastus medialis. This is an MCQ question. There is something called as subsartorial plexus. Okay, one nerve you already know by now. What formed the subsartorial plexus? Students, obturator nerve. Remember, obturator nerve via the subsartorial plexus. It supplied which component of the thigh? Lower medial aspect of the thigh. So, obturator nerve's anterior division will form the subsartorial plexus along with the saphenous nerve and along with medial cutaneous branch of femoral nerve. This is not asked so far, so you need not worry. So this is about the adductor canal. Now we will go to the MCQs. The following pairs regarding the adductor canal are true. Roof is formed by sartorius muscle. Content is femoral nerve. Floor is formed by adductor longus and magnus. Anterolateral boundaries vastus medialis. What's the answer, students?
Contents.
What is the?
Contents. Femoral nerve is not a content.
Yeah, it is not a content. Correct. Your answer is correct. The contents of adductor canal are all except femoral artery, nerve to vastus medialis, saphenous nerve, popliteal artery.
Popliteal artery.
Excellent, excellent.
Popliteal
Lateral dislocation of patella is prevented by rectus femoris, vastus intermedius, vastus lateralis, vastus
vastus
medialis.
lateralis.
Medialis.
Vastus lateralis.
I will
Media.
explain this, students.
Sorry,
Yeah,
medialis, ma'am.
very good. Patella is here. Vastus medialis is attached extensively than the vastus lateralis. That is why it prevents the lateral displacement. The answer will be vastus medialis. Which of the following structures pass through the adductor magnus? Femoral vessel, femoral nerve, femoral sheath, saphenous nerve.
Femoral vessels. Ma'am, saphenous nerve also.
See, don't get confused. Adductor magnus has 5 openings, right? Femoral vessel passes through the 5th osteoaponeuritic opening. Don't get confused with the adductor canal. Magnus is asked. So it is the
Okay, ma'am.
femoral vessels. Very good, very good. So students, that was the end of this class. This is my email ID. You can note it down. Any questions, please mail me. Any doubts so far?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No? You all
Everything clear,
understood
ma'am.
today's class?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for interacting, students. Any doubts, you can ask me anytime.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Good
No
night,
doubts,
students.
ma'am. Thank you,
Good
ma'am.
night, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Good night. Yeah, bye bye. Hello, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Madam. Hello, madam.
Yes, madam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you for
Yes.
the class, madam.
Thank you so much.
Students
Sir.
can
Thank you so
leave.
much for giving-
Students can leave. Uh, uh, okay. Yes, madam.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, madam. The class was good, madam. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
And
Thank
I
you
think
so
the
much.
next schedule has been already I have sent. The next class is on program on 17th September, madam.
Sure, sir.
Yes, I
Definitely.
sent
I'll
an
be very
email
happy to
also.
do. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Ramya wants to speak.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
ಹಲೋ ಶ್ವೇತು
Okay, sir.
Hold on, madam.
madam.
Stop
Really,
recording.
madam.
Otherwise,
Yes, yes.
I'll stop recording.